So Basic Fun initially released last year two arcade classics. The arcade classic 01, Pac-Man, which you could see actually had three different box releases as far as I'm aware, and arcade classics 02, Space Invaders, which has two different box styles, again, as far as I can tell. Both were initially released, about a year ago, and they're LCD based, which I'll show a video clip of in just a moment.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so I was wrong. So when you move him in a direction, Pac-Man will continue to go there until you move a joystick in the other direction. Well, like the Pac-Man game before, the sound effects are spot on. And I've seen many plug-and-play TV units where the sound's usually the worst part. Here, Space Invaders in the arcade was black and white, so this is really not too
Now,
bad.
again, these are pretty fun. They're a little flawed because you think in today's day and age, things have gotten so cheap. They would have actually used LCD screens, which you see in like my review of the Game Prince, which is basically an NES on a chip and has a color screen and has some pretty good NES games built in. And they're both pretty fun. They have basic LCD graphics that you remember from the early 80s, make a little reminiscent of the old games we used to play. But the sound effects were excellent. So the graphics were so-so. I found actually the Space Invaders personally more enjoyable than the Pac-Man. But they're both actually, for $19, they weren't too bad. Pretty much now you can go to like Bed Bath & Beyond or a couple other stores and get them for around $9 to $13. And to be honest, for that price point, they're fine the way they are. But as you can see in a moment, I'll show you a clip of, I've actually installed RetroPie Zeros and a Pac-Man and a Space Invaders. And I'll show you a clip of that right here. But now, just a couple days ago, today is January 30th of 2017. Apparently, a couple days ago, Basic Fun has released two new games to go in their Arcade Classics collection. But now they have stepped their game up. Now I've been sending them emails, Basic Fun, for quite some time, and also I've showed them my Raspberry Pi versions of their Pac-Man and Space Invaders. So I don't know if they took any clues from me or if it was their plans at all in the future, but I'm going to take some credit for it. But they have now released the Arcade Classics 03, which you can see here is Centipede, and they've also released 04 Q-Bert. Now what's different about these is, I'm going to show you right now, is instead of using the little cheap black and white screen, let's show you really quick. I know I showed you a clip already, but let's just go back to this for a second. Let's take a look at the original one that they released. You see, it's just got a little LCD screen. So you can see, for a couple bucks, it wasn't bad. It makes a great Raspberry Pi unit, though, I'll say that. But now we'll take a look at what they've done. So you can see they made a big change. Now that was the Centipede. Let's take a look at the Q-Bert. So you can see they made a big improvement. Now the boxes themselves are also much thicker. If you take a look at the sides of these two units versus, say, the older units, you can see they are definitely wider. So in here I was able to put a Raspberry Pi Zero and all the little parts needed to make it work, but it was really tight, but I was able to do it. With these guys, if you wanted to modify them, you could definitely shove a Raspberry Pi 2 or 3 in them easily. But why don't we do a little unboxing here and take a look at them out of the box. Now I'm going to say, just like the older boxes, these new boxes are actually quite nice. It's got some nice cardboard on them with a nice gloss finish on them. Very, very nice. So in your collection, the boxes would look really good. And again, I got these two at Walmart for $19.97. And they also come with batteries, so you pretty much just pick these up and go, and you can go play. So let's do a little unboxing on these little guys here. So first, let's start with the arcade classics. We're going to do Centipede first. Get a little bit of shot on the camera angle here. So open up the top, of course, which is always fun. I try not to ruin the box, so I try and get these open first like this to get it started. There we go. Now, unlike the other Pac-Man and Space Invaders, got instructions in here. They actually used these little plastic ties to hold the unit in place, and it's got a little bracket there, like so. So first we got to turn these little guys to get the thing off. If they want to go, that is. And some apparently don't. There we go. So as far as putting this back in the box, unlike the older ones, which just were inside a plastic case, this is a little bit more of a pain if you want to put it back in the box and keep it secured. And there we go. And then we need to push this up, and then we can remove the game. So again, like the other ones, it's really nice. They had nice artwork on the side here. I mean, it looks really nice. Nice label on here. 4-way joystick. This time they actually put notches to make sure it only goes in 4 directions. Unlike the previous ones, you could have went in any direction you wanted to. Start button and a fire button on here. Again, the side art looks really, really nice. Again, the plastic is not stupendous, but it's not bad either. I've had better and had worse. This time the on-off button has a little label stuck on the bottom here, which we'll remove. And there's also one back here for the demo mode, and it takes 3 AA batteries. If we remove these 4 screws, you get direct access to the inside of the unit. That's pretty easy if you want to do Raspberry Pi in here. And so let's pull this little tab out here. See how we're going to do this here. I guess we're going to start at this end. There we go. And now we're going to pull this one off back here as well. That turns off the demo mode. So let's actually turn it on. And the screen is very clear. We'll hit the start button. Whoop. Now, to me, it looks like, I can't say for sure, it looks like the NES version or a version of the NES version of Centipede. But the sound sounds pretty good. The joystick is pretty responsive. The fire button sure is. So it's not bad. And again, these are still at $19. So that's, you only get 1 game. But it looks like a little Centipede machine, which is great. So you can pause it, press the start button again, you can pause your game. You can see there's a better shot of the unit. So you know, this is really, really nice. You know, I did like the other ones. I liked, again, the Space Invaders more because they look nice, but they really stepped the game up. So they must have gotten really good feedback and good sales in their other ones to come out with a newer version like this. I'll let myself get killed here. Let me see if someone will hit me. And there's a sound louder and off. So low, medium, high, and off for the sound. So overall, it's really not too bad. It's a nice little Centipede. And again, the box and everything else is also really nice quality. I like it a lot. So let's take a look at the Q-Bert game as well. So we're going to go through the same thing here with the Q-Bert. Try and open the box in a nice way. But let's, you know, get another quick shot of the box. You know, it looks really nice. We have the same deal where the unit this time is held in place by these little plastic doohickeys back here, which are a little bit of a pain if you want to store it back in the box. But again, not horrible. At least you know it's secure in the box. And the same deal. We're going to simply slide it up and tilt it out. And again, you get your little instructions here. And now let's take a look at the Q-Bert. Press it again, you get your demo. Again, the sound sounds pretty nice. Decals are very well done. They feel nice. And again, if you did want to put a Raspberry 2 or 3 in here, I think it would definitely fit. Because the Raspberry Pi Zero fit fine in the smaller unit. And you can access, by taking 4 screws out, you can get access to the guts. So we're going to pull this out. And again, pull this one out. Like so. And turn it on for real. Now, like the Q-Bert Arcade, if the younger people don't know, Q-Bert didn't work in up, down, left, and right. It actually worked on diagonals. So they actually have notches here, if you could see in the camera. I know it's not the best camera, guys. Sorry about that. But it's notched out in angles instead of perpendicular 90 degrees. And we have our start button here on our joystick. So let's give it a shot. Controls feel really good. Again, it's not going to be super high quality, but it feels really good. Oh, I got nailed. Haha. So you know what? Again, this was $19. You know, that's a really good deal, in my opinion, whether you want to keep it this way. And you know what? Unlike the other two, I would have no problem keeping this as it is and putting it on my desk for people to play. Feels good. The joystick's responsive. It's got the right angles, except I just jumped off to my death. But it looks really, really nice. And again, to me, this looks like the NES version of Q-Bert. I can't say for 100% certain right now. It's only been in the box for a minute. But it's very, very nice. And I think this one would totally still be worth the $19 if it never goes down in price. So for $19, totally worth it at $19. The other ones, $9. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm actually very happy with these purchases here. And although I'm sure I will end up modifying these guys at some point with a Raspberry Pi, I'd be happy with it just as it is. So I just wanted to give you guys a really quick look at these little guys. And I think Basic Fun stepped up their game, and I'm really happy that they did. I do hope that they go back and maybe re-release the Pac-Man and Space Invaders in this form factor. Maybe do a release version 2. I would definitely pick those up in this type of form factor. And I'm really excited to see what they come out with next. I do think these two are definitely worth it. Again, they have them at Walmart, and they do have on the website they sell, and you do see the older ones at Toys R Us. You probably won't find them at the Bed Bath & Beyond. That was more of a Christmas thing. But guys, definitely, I do like these two. I don't think you'll be disappointed picking them up and showing them off to your friends. And I'm very happy with them. And I guess I'm probably going to buy more to modify with the Pi just because. But I absolutely would be proud to keep these two even as they are right now. Guys, thanks for watching and have a great day. And remember, game on.